Local genealogists are about to spend a month making the activity more accessible to the public. New Zealand Society of Genealogists Dunedin branch chairman Brian Williscroft is here to tell us all about the Society's Family History Month. Good evening, Brian.
Good evening.
Now, I've just described genealogy as an activity, but you could also describe it as a hobby or perhaps even an obsession. How would you describe it?
It's also described as an infection because it's quite contagious, but it's an exercise in research and detection, and some people now call it microhistory because we actually look at the history at in a dimension that most people would walk past. Who was your grandfather? What did he do? Where was he born? Why did he come to New Zealand? And all those kind of things, which aren't in the history books.
Now, August is Family History Month.
Indeed.
What have you got planned?
Well, right throughout New Zealand it's Family History Month, and so from North Cape south, genealogists are running functions that will open up the opportunities that genealogy offers to everybody. So we're fortunate here we can do it for free, and with the help of the public library, excuse me, the help of the public library, we'll be running a course for those who are beginning in genealogy, and we have a few extras tossed in on top of that.
What sort of training do people need in order to do their family tree?
The first instance is they need to have an interest in people, because if you're just looking at it for looking for rich relatives, you'll be disappointed. But if you've got an interest in people and what makes people the way they are, then you only need a nudge in the right direction where the resources are. And so we spend a lot of time sharing resources with people.
Now, what's behind next month's event?
Well, we're running a course right through the month, Mondays at 10 till noon at the public library. That's a free course for beginners, and there are people already registered for that. They have to register because we don't know how many we're going to be looking after, and we want to have enough material for everybody. Added to that, we've got a visit from a researcher from Salt Lake City, an outstanding woman who's speaking on the 12th of August, and she will throw some light on the changes that have taken place in their researching.
Now, what about yourself? How did you get involved in genealogy?
I was in the garden. It was a Monday, and a lady I'd never seen before walked up the path and said, "I'm looking for Brian Williscroft." And I said, "You found him?" She said, "My mother's your cousin and she's in the car and she'd like to meet you." And the lady in the car, when I went down to see her, I had never seen before. And she said, "I'm your father's cousin." And that started me off. And I've been looking for cousins ever since.
Now, we see TV shows like Who Do You Think You Are that tackle the subject. Do you think that that's increased people's interest in finding out who really is in their tree? Yes,
it has. And there's some commercial ads on television as well, advertising particular resources. But Find My Past has one difficulty. It makes it look simple. And it's never quite simple because people who recorded their personal history don't always tell the absolute truth. And sometimes families have forgotten. Just this week I had a case where I discovered that half the family thought that a particular man had a wife by a certain name. And I was quite sure he had a wife by a different name. In fact, he had two wives. I'm happy to say successively. But that's the sort of thing you find all the time.
Branch Chairman of the New Zealand Society of Genealogists of Dunedin, Brian Williscroft, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.